Or what's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Sunday Sessions with Rich podcast. Guys, this platform is designed to challenge your beliefs, and we're going to elevate that consciousness of yours, okay? If you're new to the show, welcome to episode 60. Episodes are dropped every Sunday. You can find me on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, all these amazing streaming platforms, okay? And previous episodes as well. If you can leave reviews, I will personally love that. On today's episode, guys, I'm really stoked to have this guest, okay? She is a quantum awakener, the author of her upcoming book, which is going to drop this month. She might not think it's going to drop, but it's dropping this month.
It is.
She's also the host of Let's Be Friends podcast, a medium and channeler of the Galactic Federation, and so much more. Kara, I'm excited about this episode. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. I feel honored to be a guest on your podcast. I feel a real energetic connection to you, as we were just discussing. I do feel we have a past life connection. And then I went and asked if you felt shamanic, and you said you did. So this is about energy, and it's energy that brought us together. So thank you for having me on.
Thank you. We was chopping it up before we got on the podcast. I was letting you know that I found you from Mama Maria's podcast. And I was like, and it was funny whenever I listen to you guys when you hop on, I'm like, I feel like I know these people. Like I could literally sit here and listen to you guys talk. For those who don't know, because I'm rambling on right now, for those who don't know, let us know about you, what you got going on.
All right. Yeah. So last year in 2020, I titrated off of 10 years on psych med pills for a bipolar diagnosis that I found out I never had. I was misdiagnosed by 5 psychiatrists. Wow. And never got better. High suicide ideation and anger outburst issues, just miserable, really. So getting off those pills, I ended up taking a skills-based therapy called dialectical behavioral therapy. And that ended up healing me, was learning to breathe, learning to feel my emotions, not suppress things. And what happened was it sparked what I call my quantum awakening. And my book, Here Comes Trouble, my memoir, coming out here in a couple of weeks. And you're right. I love you, because you channeled that when you said that. You made my guides were like, yeah, we got to look at that, Kara. We're gonna get the messages to you. It talks about all the different things that happened to me last year, which I call my quantum awakening, which is, the traditional ego death, the spiritual awakening within myself, remembering that I healed myself, remembering that I had past lives, remembering that I'm a quantum being, and that I'm connected to something more. And also just waking up that we live in a simulated universe, essentially, that couldn't be closer to the movie The Matrix.
Documentary, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Documentary.
So funny. And then this fall, if things couldn't get any weirder for me last year, as I'm waking up, I started channeling interdimensional beings, and I started seeing them, and I astro projected onto a ship. I've been given upgrades. I mean, it just goes on, and that's just beginning, really, for me. That's just started last fall. So yeah,
all this happened just last fall.
Yeah, just had to get off the pills that I didn't need, I guess.
I know you talked about before you even had your spiritual awakening, you was like heavy into the Matrix, into politics, and then now you're just a complete opposite after the awakening.
Yeah, I was super heavy into the Matrix, and bless my heart, like I was always like playing around with psychedelics, and seeing things like spirits like Buddha and Ganesh, and just like experiencing like astro traveling and jumping dimensions, and having no idea I was doing it because I was so asleep. I just thought that's what everybody experienced when they took psychedelics. I know. Yeah. And then but then honestly, part of my awakening was recognizing that I was in what I kind of like to call, it's kind of like a cult, I guess, politics. Yeah. When you pick a side and I write about it like I might as well have had a team jacket. I was team Democrat hardcore, and bless my heart, because I thought I was doing all the right things, following the agendas and, fighting the quote unquote good fight. But I had no idea. I didn't know what even I was fighting for. Yep. I had no idea that there was something going on in the background. I had no idea that the NPR World News on the Hour I listened to on the hour was possibly not what was happening in this world.
Yep. It's all scripted. It's because it's what, another division tactic. used as separate. It's so what I'm realizing about this whole matrix thing, and we think it's like good and bad, but you know, consciousness needs its opposite to understand itself. We wouldn't know what we don't want if we didn't have the opposite, you know? So it's kind of like consciousness is playing hide and seek with itself in all facets, and then we eventually come back and realize, oh, it's all just one.
Yeah, exactly. Just a reflection of me.
Yep. That's so
and then
true.
you gotta just when you see that, it's like, whoa, I'm gonna love everything then. Because that's just a reflection of me. And you know, I say it's selfish acts of selflessness, but when I say like I love everyone, I really mean it. Even if someone disagrees with me, like that's all right. You know what I mean? It's like the dualism, you know, that you're saying about needing to know what you don't want to know what you want. That reminds me of like friction, or like, you know, I had to know I wasn't interested in ever becoming a doctor because I couldn't even handle the thought of cutting into something. Like that's okay, but I had to know that so that I, you know, that to realize what I did like. But it is eventually though about ascending above that friction and being able to see as the observer. And that's why, and I've got my hands in the air for anybody just listening to this. And I'm saying, because it's now energy. And when we start seeing above the dualism, because that's where we had to experience and feel the friction, we do evolve to this place where we're the observer of it.
That's so wild. I had big psychedelic fan myself. I started off at acid. I haven't done shrooms since last year, but shrooms has been my latest thing to do. Last trip I had, fully experienced us as consciousness, being the observer. This was kind of like around the time COVID like first popped off. And so I'm looking like, oh, everything's fine. I can see why things are happening the way it's happening. We just gotta like wait for it to unfold and see how it maps out.
You were already awake then? Like
I was
how long? What's your story? Tell us more about that.
So that's why when you told me you had your awakening like started last fall, you bypassed everything. My awakening. I started so I feel like a spiritual awakening is the typical, you know, you're depressed, something doesn't feel right kind of thing. You're not from this world. So I'm in college.
My whole life I felt that way.
But you don't know why. You don't know why you know.
Yeah. You think there's something wrong with you and you just shelve it down. You can't talk about that.
No, but we're actually the normal ones because we're realizing this is a matrix, not without really knowing that it's a matrix.
Yeah. It is. Something's going on here for sure. It's, I mean, you start waking up and I just got to leave these bangs alone. I just cut my bangs yesterday and I'm just like, look, when I do these videos and stuff and I stare at myself, it's just easy to get distracted anyways. So you totally distracted myself on that.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, when you start waking up, you start seeing like synchronicities everywhere, like 11111 or 22s, or I don't know, a certain bird or a song comes on the radio, and that's just the universe speaking to you. But like I call it a quantum awakening for myself because I really don't know anybody else who's woken up like this. Like it's just like a band-aid was just like ripped off and it was like wild and but like so downloads. I don't know. Yeah. So for me, I do feel like the synchronicities like have gotten really intense, and it's actually like I see mandalas happening now on the daily sometimes in my life where I will walk into a room and I know that it feels different, or I know that something's changed, or I see something that's moved. And this is coming up for me. This is like something I feel it's on the channeled vibration, and I call it the channeled vibration because we can all tap into it. You're tapped into it, you know, we're on the same frequency. And I think it's that, remember when we used to say, oh, that's just my mind playing tricks on me, or like you misplaced something. Our mind was never playing tricks on us. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Wait, so to add to your part where you said the mind is playing tricks on you, do you think like when we lose stuff, do you think either we shifted timelines or it just disappearing for that random
I don't think
moment?
we lost it. No, I don't. I know. I think that we've been programmed to think that, oh, my mind's just playing tricks on me, or what, you know what I mean? Like, I misplaced that. I'm so clumsy. I don't know. Because when you get more tapped in and more observant, like I'm telling you, like that I have this picture frame in my office that is of my cat, and it's, I put it in this one spot. and it's moved multiple times, like, yeah, on its own, and nothing could have moved it. And I'll see it happen even in the same day. And I'm just like, my mind isn't playing tricks on me because I'm consciously watching this.
Right.
You know, I'm keeping the fact that I'm saying this to you or anybody who's hearing this, you're going to start, but you're going to start noticing this in your life, because this is the simulation breaking. This is all connected to CERN too. Have you heard of CERN? I just learned about that.
No, enlighten me.
The particle. Yeah. So CERN is the, they're trying to recreate the God particle or something like that, or antimatter. I'm not exactly sure, but it's this research facility in Switzerland. And my friend Nick Hinton, who I had on my podcast, wrote a book called The Aquarian Singularity. And he beautifully writes about this. Yeah, it's an awesome book, The Aquarian Singularity. And CERN is basically trying to turn back time or create a black hole or create antimatter or something. And it's just wild because the Mandela effect is attached to that. So it's like, as they're trying to do something that's like not natural, that's what something is, do we know, you've heard of them? I mean, like, I just kind of jumped into the Mandela effect there. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's where like everything's been one way, and then all this, like the word JC Penney's has always been spelled with no E at the end, and all of a sudden it's got an E at the end, and half the population thinks it's one thing and half thinks the other. There's no right or wrong. There's just a big difference.
It's still like, even with like, you ever heard that book called The Berenstain Bears? And I remember it, I think it being STEIN, but they're spelling it different. And even like the Monopoly board character, there's so much shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know it was like this. My mind is playing tricks on me.
Yeah. And you know what I'm feeling? Because, I love that we connected through Maria. She talks all about psyops and how this simulation is full of psyops. And psyops are really like just little like games they're playing on us to get our attention. Well, I think there's a psyop in everything. And the psyop of the mandala is to get us just fixated on the really big things. Like, does the Statue of Liberty have a flaming torch or not? Or is the Berenstain Bears this way? But actually, what I think is the real thing is these little things shifting around us where we're like, I misplaced that, or my mind's playing tricks on me, because that's how coming back to like consciousness and spirituality, and like everything is within. So if we were to look at everything external but like within, like the mandala that's happening to us might not be so significant. It could just be your keys not being where you really thought they were.
Wild.
I know, right?
It makes you, because now whenever I lose something, I'm going to say, did we shift timelines or dimensions or something? Because I knew it was right here.
Yeah. Life's a choose your own adventure. So one thought can shift your timeline, and you've got this CERN thing going on, and we don't know like really like, what science is doing with the energy, but like also every thought changes our timeline.
See, I've been really big and because I know that we're the creator of our reality. So I'm very conscious with, my words and how I'm phrasing things, because I know you can switch timelines any second. I don't want that to happen. But I feel like it's hard to grasp the concept that it's not just this experience that we're experiencing. Like if you weren't late for work, for example, you're now experiencing you being on time, and vice versa. Both realities exist. Whatever thought form you're attaching yourself to, you then exist in that reality.
Yeah. I can think of a good way to kind of prove that other things are going on. Everybody's dreamt at night, right?
Yeah.
What the heck's that?
Damn.
I mean, that's just tapping into another timeline that's going on. They want to tell you you're just clearing out your subconscious. Oh, that's just garbage junk from the day. I'm not believing anything that society wants to tell me anymore. And I believe that dreams, and I know because it's when you're telepathically, like you choose to connect into the universe, and you don't need your proof fed to you from a truth, like a fact checker. You're your own fact checker. You can tap in and feel what you believe is true. And I think about my dreams, and I've lucid dreamed a lot. Like when I was medicated for those 8 years, I actually for 4 years, every night would go back to the same dream world.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was living the same life, and it was real to me, like that was real. Yeah. Like, I mean, have you ever lucid dreamt?
I've done it accidentally, not consciously. But this is back when this was like when I was in college. I haven't done it since then. I had accidentally astral projected. I was half.
Yeah.
That shit is intense.
It is.
I'm laying down on the couch, half sleep. Next thing I know, my energetic body's popping out the body. I see my dad at the top, like his hands like reaching down towards me, and I got excited. and then that excitement popped me back in my body. I was so pissed.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what happened to me this fall. When I was in my backyard and I took 1.7 grams of penis envy on 10/10/2020, which is a massive portal date. Come on, 10/10/2020. Anybody who knows about numbers or can feel the magic of that.
Yeah.
Well, the veil is also thin because it's October. And yeah, I literally heard a cat call. And I asked my friend, did you hear that? And she said, yeah. And the next thing I knew, it was like I followed that cat call, and the next thing I felt was that there was this orb behind me, this like inky orb, and I knew I had to like let my consciousness just fall into it and mind meld. But I remember feeling as if I didn't know what the fuck this was, right? Like, because I'm just like, what the fuck is this? I'm not in my body all of a sudden. I've done DMT. This feels like that. And then the next thing I knew, I was on a ship. I mean, it's this quintessential like 60s ship with like an orange and yellow line around the edge. And the thing is I was laying on a table and I could see behind me, though I was laying on a table, because I was watching, this is just a construct, right?
Yeah.
I could see this big brain that I was attached to. It was a mind meld. And then like I come back, and then that moment, like you said, the moment that you felt your dad like reaching out to you, that moment I popped right back into my backyard and I was like, what the fuck? And then it just continued. Yeah, all in my book.
Oh fuck. So don't want you to expose too much about your book, but talk to us about the book. It's dropping this month.
Yeah, it's I'm planning on dropping it on the 21st because come on, 6/21/21. Like I'm all about the numbers. And I literally, like, the funniest thing is my spirit guides. Like I hear voices of spirit. We all do. It's that once you clear the bullshit out of your head, you can connect with your spirit guides, with the voice of spirit, and you know it because it's rhythmic. It's always loving, and it's never going to tell you what to do. It's just nice suggestions. It's just like a buddy, like, well, maybe you should drink some water.
Exactly.
You got a headache? Maybe you should drink some water. Like, you just got to clear the bullshit out. The mind programming. They've got programs running, so you can't connect with voice of spirit.
We got to talk about that too, because this is an episode I've been waiting for. So mind programming, you had recently. Oh, and then you also have YouTube. Talk to us about your podcast and YouTube. There's so much you got going on.
I got stuff. I'm out there. People find me when they need to. So mind programming is a real thing. It is. And I discovered this, actually, I talk about this in my book, in a backwards way. I realized I was so miserable in my life. Like, I'm 38 years old. This all happened to me last year. Like, I went a long time in my life, like, and not miserable every day, but really fucking miserable. Like, I didn't want to be here, basically, and was willing to take like 24 pills a day, 30,000 I never needed, hopes that they would make me feel better. Well, I went to counseling, and my counselor told me, she had a neurology background, and she said there's this stuff called myelin sheath that builds up in the pathways, the electrical pathways of your brain. And every time you have a certain thought, like you say, you think of, I'm looking in the mirror and I think of myself and I think, oh, I look fat. Then I got some myelin sheath building from myself to fat. And what if I do that every time? I just start building up this protein pathway, which is a science, just means that you're more often going to go and think that. So to not think that, you have to think, oh, I'm going to look in the mirror and instead create a new pathway where I love myself. But you just have to keep, it's like building a ditch. You just digging out a little each time, building up. So once I learned from her that you could reprogram your brain by just changing the way you thought, and that it did take time, but you just created new, essentially super highways for the energies to go. I started doing that. And I was with Margaret in therapy for the 8 years. And we did this, and I started seeing how just by changing the way I thought, that I started feeling better. And I discovered that I love that your cat just jumped up. That I'm big time Lyran starseed. So I'm sure you are too.
I know I'm an Arcturian, but then I think about it. I feel like we're all just one at that certain point.
We're hybrids. There's the bloodlines, right? But I'm a hybrid, happy hybrid, like big time. I mean, I'm Andromedan, I'm Lyran, I'm Syrian.
Okay.
That's big. I feel I am of the Orion Council of the Light. Like,
that's amazing.
Dude, I'm sure you're Galactic Federation too. Do you feel you channel them? Yeah.
I do. So backstory. So in college, I always had fascination for stars, and I was always into like aliens. And I'm like, I just knew I didn't belong here. Just something about the sky that always called me. Fast forward, was it this year? It was earlier this year. I had a soul blueprint reading, and it unlocked my abilities. Like I was always intuitive. I could always feel people's energy. Like I know if you're sad or if you're, bullshit or not. Like I can pick it up. I can pick it up. But then I just started, getting messages from like my angelic guides. So, oh, like you said, oh, you should do this, or channeling my book, for example. I'm writing a book as well. So
yes, I channeled my book too.
See,
I love that you just said that.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It makes me want to cry. That's beautiful.
Yes. So just channeling the book. I haven't had much contact with the Galactic Federation, but I do know because it's steps. I was told so I need to not master.
Hi. I love it when I do channeling sessions with people and they're like, I've never really communicated with the Galactic Federation of Light. And I'm like, hi, I'm literally sitting here saying, I'm an Orion Council of the Light and here in the flesh. So
That's true. Okay.
Like I had a drop in come and tell and speak that through me. That's how I knew like, like this will happen. It's called possession, which sounds scary. And that's of course, because they've swayed it that way. But I like had no idea that I channeled, and because this was part of my awakening. I didn't know how psychic I was. I just I didn't know I was channeling. I didn't know what I was doing, but I'd do psychedelics with friends in the past. And I'd suddenly be like, oh, this is coming in. Hold on. There's this conversation in my head going on. And then I'd start talking and I'd say, okay, that's what it is. And literally just channeling. So I'm in my backyard and all of a sudden I turned to my friend and we did a microdose, and mushrooms just amplify the magic. But this magic is all possible without too. It's just to help you remember. So I'd had a microdose and I'm sitting in a hammock, and all of a sudden I turn to my friend and I go, you're looking at an Orion Council of the Light member in the flesh. And then I bounced back and I said, did I just say that? And she said, you just said that. And I was like, I knew, because telepathy is a real thing. You get a lot of information with telepathy it doesn't come with words, but then the human has to translate it. I knew that was needed because I was to see that in myself, and I was to recognize that the Galactic Federation is not just in the sky.
Yeah.
There's members. I mean, look at Elizabeth. Have you heard of Elizabeth April?
Yes.
She's amazing. She's a huge channeler of the Galactic Federation, and she has for a long time. I feel she's like big up there and running that show and connecting us. But I think it's an activation for if you're interested in space, if you're 100%. Interested, like you're a star seed, like see this, let's honor and acknowledge that in ourselves. Let's not wait for anybody else to tell us. You know what I mean?
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So you've been seeing the whole, media attention on aliens, popping up. This is my theory. Okay. Mm-hmm. Gonna be a fake alien invasion. Right. And then it's going to be so outlandish that our real selves are going to present themselves and say, hey.
I love that you say it's going to be so outlandish. I know, right? Because you know what's funny is like, I didn't believe in aliens before my experience on 1010. Like I didn't believe in past lives in September either. And now I have access to the Akashic records and I've seen them. It's like wild how I've expanded in the last few months. But when I had my experiences with these interdimensional beings, it's energy.
It's energy, yeah.
It's energy. And I remember thinking afterwards, because I telepathically, like when I came down from that ship, I looked at my friend and I was like, they're here. Like, I knew it. You know what I mean? When you see people do that, it's just like, because no one needed to say, hey, the aliens are here. I just knew it. I knew what this was. And call interdimensional beings. They've been telling me lately. I don't even think that they like to be called aliens that much. I think that's the 3D word.
I don't like saying aliens.
They're like with us right now. I'm channeling that, and they're just like reminding me. But the thing is I had always thought that ET would come and shake my hand, like as a kid, because that's what they feed us. Right. What they feed us is that's why they want you to have that box that you think aliens are going to be that, and then that's that ludicrous thing that you're talking about. They're going to do. Yeah, we're going to see past it.
It's going to see past because I mean, it's what the alien movies, it's the TV shows. We're programmed to think that our dimensional selves are bad. Yeah, we have your good and bad, species regardless, but it's just it's weird. But I do think that they're going to just present themselves, and it's going to shake religion. It's going to shake people's view on everything. Yeah. How do you explain that?
It's funny that part of the narrative is that aliens are going to like invade us and attack us, because
Right.
I don't feel they've come yet, because they're afraid of us, because
Thank
we
you.
kill each other.
Right.
Yeah, it's really messed up, which that's mind programming too. I really don't think humans are meant to be horrible, vicious creatures. I don't. Like, trauma-based mind control is a real thing. MK Ultra, like I talk about that in my book.
Can we
Where do you think?
can we talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
we
that
can
as
talk about
well?
everything. Yeah, let's talk.
So I know, okay, so this is kind of where I get, so for those who don't know what MK Ultra Mind Programming is, so
You can
basically,
Wikipedia it.
shit.
Yep.
Did it kind of, I guess it didn't originate in America. I forgot where it originated.
Maybe the Nazis, and
Yeah,
then
that's what I
they
was
brought it
thinking.
over with Project Paperclip.
Exactly,
After the World
exactly.
War. Yeah, we let the Nazis in after the
You
World
let
War,
the
guys.
you let the
Yep,
Nazis in.
who let the Nazis in? Not me. Not me.
Not
No.
me. Wait, so I know, don't they use what, like LSD too?
They did
Kind
a lot
of?
of things. They did these mind control experiments. Basically, they fucked with people like prisoners. They'd give them, drop
Damn.
acid and all this. They wouldn't tell them what it was. I mean, that's why Reefer Madness, somebody jumps off the building. I don't think they knew they were drugged or whatever.
Mhm.
But like, it's not just that. It's like, have you seen Zoolander, the movie?
I have,
You know,
yeah.
when he's like, they're like, you're going to kill the prime minister. And there's all those swirls. That's like basically MK Ultra stuff.
They're telling you.
Traumatize. Like when these celebrities go off to rehab, I think
Oh
that
my
may be
God.
reprogramming, because
Yes.
they often come.
Stop.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah.
Stop.
And
Sorry,
so
guys.
there's like these high levels of MK Ultra going on, right? And he's like, even athletes that like have handlers and all this stuff, and just all over the place. And
Yeah.
but then I also feel that every micro to macro MK Ultra is happening like throughout society, like bullies in school, right? MK Ultra, trauma-based mind control. At home, our parents are doing it to us. We're doing it to each other. We're doing it to strangers. Anytime your trauma is inducing, you're creating more negative karma. That's what they wanted.
Wait, backtrack, because you're reading my mind right now. So it's the stuff I went. So
I do that a lot and I don't even know it.
bullies. So where does the programming come from? The parent not being there? Like,
I think when I say, like, I think the bullying can definitely, like, that programming can come from all sorts of ways, right? Our parents or our siblings, but teachers can, other kids at school. I just think that like we often love to blame our parents for everything. It's an easy one, but like a lot of the trauma came all over the place, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It takes away from, because backtrack. So I blame my mom for a lot of the shit I went through, not realizing that. Do you believe in soul contracts?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
1,000%. Yeah.
not knowing at the time that we had a contract going on, I need to be shown and live the life. But then it gets to a point where you have to be held accountable for how are you, killing yourself? How is your mindset? I can easily say, ooh, me, because my mom didn't, nurture me like I would have. But yeah, she did it. But why? Maybe, her mother didn't do that to her. So the programming, trickles down. But then you have to get to the point. It's the trauma. It's the trauma based. That's fucking.
They had us do it to themselves. I mean, it's happening all over the place. They're doing it on the macro too. They have us doing it to each other. We're doing their dirty work, basically. And the thing is I was just tapping in, is you're the one who came here to heal your ancestral line.
Oh,
so your mother did the gift of showing you what needed to be healed. I feel these chills right now that are just like wild. They're beautiful. I don't know if you're feeling them too.
I am.
But I almost like cry. Also, but like, yeah, like you're the one who came in to do that. Like, so that's why you've reached this place too, where you can see how it all got here, how it was passed on, and how your mom was never given what she needed. And I'm sure her parents didn't have I want to say, bless your heart for doing the healing, and just by seeing it and investing in yourself, because I want you to know you're not just healing this relationship with your mother and you're healing every single lifetime, because it's quantum. Remember I said about dreams of your family that's ever happened with that trauma that started somewhere. Everything has a start. That's why I say every single thought can change our timeline and our reality. Just like one action can create trauma for decades and decades. But when you stop it and you transmute it, which is by not perpetuating it, by having love for your mom and saying, oh, bless her for being the one to be in that pain, to show me what I'm powerful enough to end for my family, by having love for her and saying, whatever, I won't pass that on. I will transmute that vibration. Do you see how powerful that is?
Damn.
Each one of us can do that.
and you don't think about it. You I guess you kind of think you have to do like this extravagant amount of work to heal like your, the lineage, but I guess it, like you said, it starts with a thought and being
It
conscious,
does.
so you're not continuing that vibration. Because like my family, for example, they would say, oh, we're, alcohol runs in our family and we're a bunch of alcoholics. But that programming, if you adopt it, will become yours. You can
Yes.
easily say, because I don't adopt myself with that, because I
Yeah.
don't want that experience,
Yeah.
But people, I guess until you understand how powerful we are as the creator in our thoughts, it's easy just to fall in that loop of thought.
Yeah, it's like getting a credit card debt. It's really hard to get out. Or like when you're
Yeah.
getting a bad grade in school, it just seems like it's really hard to go back up. But that is because that is the real learning. That's the journey. The journey is what matters, right? And so that hard work and all of that, like once you get out of it, you look back and you're like, wow, I overcame that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm so powerful. You see it then. But I mean, I was miserable for so long. I was in so much pain. I was a victim. I literally swallowed an antidepressant. And I look at this now and it's wild. And I would think it would make me happy.
Wow.
I thought there was a chemical in that pill that
Right.
would just make me happy. Like you could just be happy. I had to remember that I was responsible for my happiness
Yes.
by tapping in and saying, Kara, how are you doing? What is it you need? Not by making depression or anxiety or anything disappear, but just acknowledging it and giving myself what I need and
Yeah.
feeling, just processing and just observing myself and just letting those feelings flow. Because when you take pills, I believe you don't often like the pills that numb your mood or just
Yeah.
calm you down. The energy doesn't go anywhere, guys. It stays
No.
stuck in you. Like I did ayahuasca in September and part of
Wow.
a process of clear. I lost 65 pounds last year, and it's not about the weight loss, which is wonderful, but I believe that in that weight was stored 8 years of not feeling. And
Whoa.
then, I did the sacred medicine ceremonies. I did mushroom ceremonies this summer. Were very sacred, where I know our guides came in and they healed me. Like I've been through a massive, especially now I've been connected to the spiritual realm. Like the spirits want to come in and help heal us. Our
Yeah.
ancestors beyond want to heal us. I'm
Yeah.
hearing right now that the ones that we're connected to want to work with you too. And we
Hell
can talk
yeah.
more about that. Like
Hell
that's
yeah. Hell
really
yeah.
powerful. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
That's
There's
insane.
healing being
So
offered to you right now energetically. Yeah.
I love this. I love that. So wow. Okay. Because we're going all over the place. I'm
I
loving it.
know. That's what I do.
I love it. No, no, I love it. I love it. So okay.
Exercise the brain.
Exercise the brain. Let's backtrack to MK Ultra real quick. So
Yes.
I know like celebrities and either and I use the word elite loosely because everything's just us playing this role. So
Yeah.
just the puppet handlers,
Elite illusionists,
right? The
as our
elite
friend Rambo
illusionist.
says. Yeah.
Shout out to Rambo, man. I know you're watching
Yeah.
this, Rambo. Shout out to
Yeah.
Human Vibration. Um,
Yeah. The whole crew.
I
Yeah. I
love
love it.
them,
We're all
man.
coming together.
I do too. I do too. It's the fuck. I'm having two phones.
MK Ultra is trying to get you
MK.
to not talk about it. Yeah.
See?
I know it's a simulation.
Okay, so celebrities, they not the handlers, they're making it so obvious. So I've been seeing on Twitter recently, like don't want to drop names because
I know. That's how I feel
you know
too.
what I'm
But
saying.
at the same time, I want to.
You know,
I mean, they are going on these magazines and basically like
well,
showcasing what club they're in.
you see what I'm saying? It's been certain well-known, summer type artists, if guys catching the drift.
I mean,
Who,
I'll say the names if you don't want to.
fuck it. I just forgot her name
Demi
already.
Lovato.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee
Oh,
Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion. I saw that today. And it's so upsetting because, man, I love her
You know what I'm
songs.
saying?
I love it. But you know what? I knew it was too good to be true with her. Yeah, she came back from rehab, rehabilitation. You got to wonder.
This is the part that confuses me. Okay. So the whole point of MK Ultra is, programming, or is also with cloning too?
Cloning is, I don't know if it's part of the MK Ultra, but I mean, there's some weird things like cloning is a whole rabbit hole. Yeah.
Why would you? So as I guess the artist or whoever, if you're willingly going through that, I'm assuming, but then when you come out of it, you're not.
I don't think they're willingly.
Oh.
I don't think so. No. I mean,
I wouldn't personally. If you told me I had to go through it to get to a certain point, I would.
Yeah, no, I think that a lot of that's why I have so much love and compassion for these people. Like, let's look up at Britney Spears for a second, because that's a pretty obvious one.
Yeah,
Bless her
she's pretty
heart, because
obvious.
you mentioned soul contracts, and for anybody who doesn't know what that is, for at least for me, I believe everything that's ever happened in our lives, we decided.
Yes, 100%.
We decided what family we were going to come into, so we could have that trauma endured upon us, so that we could have those energetic vibrations come up because they've been happening in past lives. So we're just recreating. That's why when you have in a failed relationship, why do I always pick the wrong person? Well, because you haven't switched and shifted yet. You're overcoming that. It's your masterclass. And, some people don't like hearing that because they don't, there's a lot of stuff that's really horrible that does happen in this world, and it's not right. I don't like having that 10 years of basically being on pills I never needed that almost killed me many times. I'm not happy about that, but I had to get to a place where I alchemized it as my masterclass. So in these contracts, these celebrities that are being, choosing to go like Britney Spears, like it's her soul contract, I believe, to have this, but she's showing us what's going on. So when I feel her higher self feels very angelic, actually, just tapping into that. That's huge. That's huge to go through that, just to show us what could be going on. And I very much feel a lot of those child stars, that's when they get to people, is before you're 7 years old, they say, is really when you're programmable. And that's all of us.
100%.
Okay? Yeah. And that's when I think they start this mind programming. And I mean, there's so much crazy stuff about this, like, and they're showing us everything in movies, Men in Black, when they do that little neurolator where they erase your mind. Is that MK Ultra stuff? I don't know. Like, I don't know, man.
About that. That makes so much sense.
When you revisiting, I can't even watch movies. Like I watch The Big Lebowski over and over again because it's safe to me for some reason. I don't know why. It's not, probably, there's a lot, but I just like movies. They show us everything.
I can barely watch TV and movies. I think I don't know if it's because I know I pick up on the programming of it, but I just can't sit there and watch a movie unless it's like a documentary or something that, like, if it's like a Marvel or something I'm really into, and I can't watch TV because I just, my soul is just like blocks it.
No, I can hear it's because I heard in my head as you said that's because his vibration's too high. Like, you've ascended, you are absolutely, I see you as like a Buddha floating kind of above yourself. I just saw that. That's really cool. Excuse me. But yeah, no, it's like the vibrations aren't, like, if I hear an advertisement on TV, like my boyfriend's watching a basketball game or something, I'm just like, like turn it off. I actually feel, I live in Austin, Texas, and I feel like I can hear a vibration. I'm listening, like, quietly, like, everybody just for a moment, just listen. You hear a vibration, kind of like there's a vibration of the world, right? This is another thing that's been coming up in my consciousness, is that is fucking with us. Like these satellites or whatever's going on in this world, I do feel like there's like, everything's about vibration. So just imagine if there's like a commercial type, really quiet vibration sort of going out into the world. Imagine what it would be like if it was just silent. Like when the power goes out.
Yeah. Damn, that makes.
Yeah, I mean, I just think there's all these invisible things that really are kind of going on as I've been connecting to the invisible realm of magic in myself and outside. Like they're doing it too, and they're programming people with MK Ultra. It's a real thing.
Think about this though. So like the binaural beats that you can play on YouTube, and then also just like music in general. You turn on the radio, 9 times out of 10, and it's the same music, being looped around. But certain music will make you feel angry, sad, happy, and whatever. It's that frequency within that music that the body's now taking on.
Yes.
And now it makes me think, you made me think too, why I reject watching TV and movies, because it's that subtle frequency that I'm just rejecting. I can't do it.
It's not personal, it's vibrational.
Damn.
Yeah, no,
I like that.
And it's the same thing with people. Everybody's emitting a frequency with a light body around us, and there's an energetic field around us. It's why, like, you want to hug some people and some people you don't.
Yeah.
Some people you just don't want to talk to, or you don't want to come. I mean, it's a vibration. You can even feel like, even when you asked me to come on the podcast, I just tapped in and I'm like, oh, I like his vibration. Yeah. I'm coming on. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like you tap in and you can tell in a text message the vibration behind us. I mean, without this is a real thing. This is for all of us to honor in ourselves and to stop doubting our intuitions. That was a huge part of my psychic abilities expanding, was believing myself.
Yeah.
We're programmed to not believe ourselves, to look outside of ourselves. Even religion, they want you to look outside of yourself. It's all outside of yourself, outside of everything. School, you need a doctorate, all that. I need to ask a doctor, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Why aren't we looking to ourselves? We have the firsthand knowledge and experience of everything going on. We can actually like ask ourselves, where does it hurt? And we'll show ourselves.
That's so true. We have, so I guess because religion, it's designed that way, right? To have you worship yourself.
That's why they created it. No, I'm sorry to say this for anybody who doesn't know. They created this. Everything was created to control us.
Yep.
This is not the way I feel we're naturally supposed to live. I really don't. I actually think like we aren't even seeing the like real beauty that's actually out there. Cause I've seen some magical stuff. Like, you know, there's some magic out there is real. Like even this fall when after I blasted on the ship and started communicating with these beings, like they started visiting me and like upgrading me.
That's amazing.
And, yeah, I know. And like one of the times I was told that I was getting a sensory upgrade where I was actually going to see more color. I was going to see sharper. Yeah. And like, I literally started seeing more color and sharper, like immediately, and it hasn't gone away. And it's just like you start thinking right now, ask right now, everybody listening to this, I want full DNA activation, spirit guides. That's all you have to do. I said that this fall. I swear, I heard a friend say it and I was like, I want full DNA activation. They're like, well, you have to just ask your guides. I was like, ask my guides. What do you mean? Well, your guides aren't going to help you connect with you if you don't allow them to, because free will is a thing.
Yes. I think that's what, damn, you mentioned free will. I think we was granted that gift of existing however the hell we want to exist. And our, I guess, higher selves or whatever, they can't intervene unless we ask them to do it.
All they can do is crazy. Like put a song on the radio and hope that you hear it, or get you to stub your toe, or you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, no, they can't. They're like, we're their little avatar. I mean, I've been my higher self. Like I feel when I'm my higher self, and I was shown my higher self fully on mushrooms where I knew I would switch right into that being. And it's different. It's like, I have a talk about myself like, oh, bless Kara's heart. She's, you know, done all the hard work for us and she's doing the best she can. And she's doing the human part, which is stubbing your toe and making mistakes and being lost. Cause it's what you said earlier, that friction.
Yeah, that friction. Yeah.
Learn, but there is the higher self, the consciousness that's piloting this existence that's beyond this, and we all have it. It's just start connect. I think those numbers we see, the 111s, the 222s, that's our higher self. Often I channel into that, and it's someone's higher. I'm like, someone wants to know who is that? It's their higher self.
So okay, I see, you know, the 2s, the 1s, 3s. I knew
you were gonna say 2.
See, I'm really, because I know I'm a master number 22.
Ooh, I'm a 33.
You're 33.
We're 55 together. We're changed.
Let's go. Let's go.
We're massive change together.
So okay, let me ask you this then. Is the repeated numbers just a little heads up from yourself to like either, you know, be conscious of the situation, or I'm trying to communicate with you?
Yeah, I think it's whatever, like if it's whatever thought comes next is more what you see, the feeling in your body, because our senses, our psychic abilities, the more we choose to feel literally in ourselves, the more tapped in we get into our emotions. Guess what, folks? Your psychic abilities are going to equally open up. That's the gift. Yeah, I tell people this all the time. Like, they're like, I'm feeling a lot more lately and everything's been heavy. And it's like, that's ascension, right? Because we're expanding internally and externally. And when you start feeling a lot like that, just know the blessing is coming, that you're going to start being more psychic and more connected, more intuitive, more able to know what's best for you and sense what's happening. And the more tuned in you are with life, the more you choose to be an active participant, man, you are just a way better player in your life. And this is just a game, right?
These are consciousness bars right now that you spitting right now. This is amazing. This is straight bars. So when you're feeling emotions, we should get excited because we're being shown that we are tapped in, and that we're tapped into ourselves. Yeah. And that great things are on the way if we just trust.
Yes. It's just when you're tapped in, you're the creator. You want to manifest something, but okay, let's open up the psychic plane, aka the imagination. They tried to tell us it was an imagination. It's your psychic plane.
Oh
It's
my
magical. It's what
God.
humans have, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
not everybody can envision up there, and you go and you have a thought and you want to be, create or manifest something. You start creating it in your mind, and then you just like let it go to the universe, and then it will unfold, because we are in the fifth dimension frequency now.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I've been feeling a lot of shifts lately, like, especially last week. I just felt like we were in a peaceful, like, utopia kind of. I was just super happy.
Lucky you.
Like,
that was not my last week.
That was what you see. Now this week I'm the opposite, so I don't know what's going on. But
that I can tell you exactly what's going on with that. There was an eclipse a week ago.
Okay,
come on. Remember that full moon?
I still get confused with full moons. I don't know how long they last. I just know like I get emotional after a while.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. So full moons are for letting go. So that's probably why you get emotional, because it's showing you what you need to remove by bringing it up and letting it release. But this last full moon that we had a week ago, which you said the last week was good, but then we had this full moon and things started shifting. Eclipse, which amplifies things. Any change or anything that needed to be let go of is going to happen faster. And it was a super moon, and it was a blood moon. Okay. Damn. So I know. So it's been fun. It's been rough around. I've just been like that. I mean, actually, I'm doing way better. I did some work yesterday. I completely unplugged from social media, my computer, even my phone for 48 hours. And I got to say, it's funny because it was kind of hard. Yeah. I was shown what I was addicted to. Obviously, I needed to see this and also realign how I was doing things. But I did that because I didn't feel my timeline was correct, because I was energetically getting what I felt was attacked. And so I come back and I'm all great. And I'm here back today. And I'm like on the optimal timeline. I can tell this is going wonderful. But the thing is, on the 10th, in 2 days, I think, we are having a new moon eclipse. Again, I know, but drum roll. New moons are for manifesting. And didn't I just say, when you go into your psychic plane and you put a thought up there, that you can create what you want? And everybody listening to this, you are blessed to know that you can take advantage of this new moon. And please, I want you all to manifest your dreams for the highest timeline and good for humanity, because that's how this world is going to rise up, is when each one of us plugs inside, goes within, makes ourselves happy, checks in what our dreams are. You know what I mean? They wanted us to look outside because that was the bullshit way. But we're going to go in and we're going to manifest new earth together, and we're all going to use this new moon for that.
Ooh, I do feel though, guys, at first, if you're listening to this was episode 60, but now it's episode 59. I have to drop this. So
we just time traveled. We just shifted the timeline. We shifted the timeline.
Guys, welcome to episode 59 now. We're not at 60 yet, guys. We're not at 60.
If I could turn back time, you can. You don't have to. There's no over the hill. No, thank you. I'm still a kid. Look at me.
We're still the kids we used to be. You can't and I'm realizing that, source, God, whoever you call yourself, at the core is just a child, just having fun creating. That's all it is.
Yeah, that it's all about getting back in touch with that inner child and healing that inner child. That is so, for anybody who wants to do healing right now, real quick, easy thing. Next time you get scared, sad, or hurt, actually know that there's something inside you. Picture yourself as a child for a second, and then envision holding yourself and just being like, what's up? Let me hear what's going on with you, and listen to that voice, and then say, I got us this time. Okay. I'm going to take care of us this time. Like, I know you feel abandoned. Sometimes I know that you're worried because that person's ghosting you or they walked away, but you know what? We're not going to look outside of ourselves anymore, because I got you, and we're going to get through this together, and we're going to heal that. You're going to heal from when that's seeded. You might even think about the first time that happened. And that, if you can, that's super powerful, because that's that root. You know what I mean? They always say when you weed, my mom would always say, pull by the roots. There's a reason for that. But yeah, inner child healing is super powerful, and it's envisioning you as yourself as a child. For me, that's what I do. And then just say, I've got this. We've got it this time. We're going to do it different this time. You can recreate, like how you turned this into episode 59. Like we can actually all do that with any traumatic experience that you've had. You can go back and visit that and get yourself comfortable, get yourself feeling safe, get in your zone, and go back and rewrite that. Rewrite that
Yeah.
conversation that went wrong. Rewrite your childhood. Rewrite whatever you didn't have go your way. Because if the more we keep perpetuating, like, please stop you guys saying those old stories that, didn't go well or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? People who introduce themselves with their trauma, and it's like, oh, you're recreating that every time. Like,
you have to tell a different story. I could easily say, I went through that. And it's like, no, like, yeah, you went through that, but the mind doesn't know what's real or what's not. So whatever you keep telling yourself is what is going to keep experiencing.
Absolutely. You are the creator. We are the creators. And it's with our thoughts.
That's so
We were
wild.
told to be afraid of ourselves. I hated myself. I checked myself into the psych ward. Well, the police did 10 years ago. When I was misdiagnosed bipolar. And I remember the police officer looking at me in the elevator, bless his heart. He was so nice. The trauma police officers are actually really nice. The mental health ones, which is good. He said, one day you will be your best friend. And I looked at him like, fuck you. Like, I was like, fuck you. You're taking me into the psych ward. Like, I don't like, whatever. No, I'm not going to be my best friend. Like, I'm ready to kill myself right now. No, thanks. And you know what? Wherever that man is now, like, you were right. Because I'm my best friend now. I am. I have to hang out with one person. It's me. Who am I going to make happy? Me. Who am I going to take care of? Me. Who am I going to check in with? Me. Like, I love myself. I really truly believe it's possible to take a life of chaos and suffering and alchemize it into one where you're thriving and you're in love with yourself. And, every day is not always amazing, right, but the truth is that's the times when we really become our best friend and we really, get ourselves through those hard times, because we can't control what's external, but we can control what's internal. And that's love.
God,
how much love you want to give yourself, like, tap into your heart. You know what I mean? Like, whoever's listening right now, let's put your hands on your heart for a second. I mean, feel your heartbeat. Like, you're amazing, you're alive, and you create love. And the more you give to yourself, that's the more you give to the world. You know what I mean? Literally, that's what you can see in the world.
Because at that point, when you give yourself love, everyone reflects that and mirrors that, because everything is just a mirror at the end.
That's right. Selfish acts of selflessness.
When people say, no, I'm not selfish. No, it's actually good to be selfish. Because you're placing boundaries within yourself to protect you at the end of the day.
Yeah. No, they told us to put our oxygen mask on first. And that was one correct thing. We really should check in fill ourselves up first. Because think of parents, any parents who are listening to this. Like, I used to work as a nanny. I don't have children, but I know how much work it is. Kids are a lot of work.
Yeah, they are.
You're constantly just putting your kids first. But eventually you do need to take a day for yourself.
Yeah.
To replug back in and recharge. And there's nothing to feel guilty about. I know someone's hearing this right now. And I love you, whoever's hearing this is really feeling this, because I'm feeling that for you. Like, it's good. Give yourself what you need. Put yourself first. Give yourself that break. Because when you come back, you are able to give like so much more than when you were on empty and you were just trying to continue, make it to the gas station.
The children pick up on the energy too. We don't know that. Well, we know that now, but we didn't know that back then.
Well, what's funny? These things I've thought of too is they always said that kids don't tell the truth. Don't listen to kids, right? They just lie.
The biggest baloney. Exactly.
I know.
Because they know they are the purest thing to us as source that we can possibly get. They see through all the bullshit. They're living the most blissful, peaceful experience ever. And they're showing us the way. And ultimately, we just, shush them up because we know how powerful they are.
Yeah, because because it was like hot buttons. We didn't want to hear the truth of what they said. Like, like, I mean, I'm thinking about, this is actually an autobiography that I did read like last year when I was waking up, was Jessica Simpson's, of all. Speaking of celebrities who may have been MK Ultra, I don't know. But she has a scene in the book where she had been molested by her cousin. And she said to her parents, she must have been like 8 years old, like, this happened, and they didn't believe her.
But why would a child lie about that though?
Exactly. And I think about that a lot when I think about when they say, oh, you shouldn't trust children. Because one of the things I woke up to was that children are being trafficked and like horrible things are actually going on. And this whole I looked into actually what Save the Children hashtag actually was. That was part of my awakening, because I had been molested by my doctor as a child, and I had actually suppressed the memory, and it came back when I was 25. It was like I went and did hypnotherapy and did massive inner child healing, and I couldn't have talked about it before. Like, I didn't even choose to remember it.
Yeah.
But I always had like weird feelings about like sexual things. And like, just, I had like, it was just, you know, like the trauma's there. The trauma's there. Yeah. But when you expose it, you see it, you can free it. But I think about, you know, Jessica Simpson saying her parents didn't believe her. And I think about like all these children that are abused in a whatever way, and people don't want to believe them because they don't want to deal with it because they have the trauma or whatever. So they just say, don't listen to the kids, but the kids know what's up.
They know. That's so freaking wild. Like, guys, if you have children and you listen to this, listen to your children, man.
Yeah. They know, they tap into past lives too. You know, they see spirits. Like, I didn't have an imaginary friend, but anybody who did, I would love to talk. Did you have an imaginary friend? I
tried to force myself to have one, but I don't always talk to myself. Like, because my thing is, what's the difference between having a conversation in your head versus having it out loud? It's the same shit. And then you got to ask yourself, okay, who's listening? Because I had this thought when we was talking about religion. So when I grew up a Christian, but I always kind of sensed something was off. So never understood why. So I would sit in church and, you know, I'll be on my Game Boy and I'll get in trouble with my grandma. She's like, why aren't you paying attention?
On your Game Boy, that's amazing.
I just rejected all the information. My soul knew, like, nah.
Yeah, I love it. You're like, I'll come. I'm bringing my Game Boy. Yeah.
But no, so fast forward. I think it was like a couple of years ago. I'm an adult. My grandma was begging me, just please come to church with me one time. I was, you know, she's trying to save me and, you know, get me right with the Lord. I'm like, Grandma, I'm okay, honestly, but I'm gonna come with you just to, you know, make you happy. So I'm sitting there in church, and you know how they're singing and, you know, doing the affirmations. I rejected that information so hard. I'm like, and my spirit's like programming. I had to leave. I walked about the church. I said, Grandma, I can't do this. I'll wait in the car. I was 20, I'm 28 now. I think I was 24, 25.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Saturn returns 28. Woo, look at you. Your life's about to blossom.
See, I'm excited. Back into, so when I had my activation with, you know, just being like a channeler, I was told that when I was tripping on psychedelics, I channeled the name of my book. Then when I had
the name of your book? Tell me the name of your book.
It's called The Book of Why.
Ooh.
The Book of Why.
Ooh,
you're the first one I've said it to, like out loud. So
it needed to be said.
I needed to be said. The book, guys, the book is called The Book of Why.
I love that.
So I was
like, I want to read it. I was like, by the title, you know what I mean? It's in my mind all day. Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Because I channeled the name of the book, and okay. Then when I had the activation, they told me, you know, this book, my purpose with the book is to kind of give you the blueprint to do the shadow work, but also wake up a bit faster in your next incarnation. So I'm just giving you the shortcuts to get straight to, I'm God, let me create my reality. Okay. And so I was told, you know, how to structure the book. So when I'm writing the book, I'm channeling, and I'm also told I'm supposed to help the masculine, because they don't.
Oh, I love you so much. Thank you for saying that. It's so powerful.
We need to heal. We suppress. We don't, you know, feel our emotions. Like, for example, I'll talk to my younger brother and he'll say he's upset, and I try to walk him through and say, it's okay to cry. You have to release. He says, no, I'm going to just keep it in. I'm like, that's not healthy. No, it's not healthy. It's okay to be
the masculine is so suppressed. It's not just suppressed, but there's too much of it too. It's not correct. And so that's part of, like, I think of the yin yang and like placing it over the earth, and we, like, everything's about energy. It's really about neutral point. I believe that's the observer. You just float, you know, and it's like the world has way too much yang energy. Way too much, like, structure and order. And you know, sorry to say it, but you're like master 22 stuff, like being able to master this matrix, this reality, and all that, which is wonderful. But then we need this feminine energy, this yin. And it's feeling, healing, psychic abilities. Like, you and I are such a beautiful balance right now of that. Actually, this both, I have a lot, you know, you have that divine masculine energy, and I'm, I guess, showing that divine feminine energy.
I love that.
And I feel that balance. And so that's what I'm just so happy to hear you say that, because it's so powerful for a masculine energy to tap into that feeling is good and that's
It
okay. Yeah. And it's because it's mind programming. People think they're doing the right thing and being proud and that crying's bad. But guys, like, actually, no, it's release.
therapeutic. It's release. I guess
Mhm.
it all because it comes down to when if a child is crying, it's a boy, and the father will be like, "Stop crying, man up." And so you're programmed at a young age to
Yeah.
not feel your emotions, just wipe it to the side and keep pushing. But no,
Yeah.
you fucking yourself up with that.
Yeah. And it just takes one thought, you know, like do you remember my mom saying when I was little, like maybe her parents had told her something that crying was weak.
Yeah,
And then I remember like trying not, and I cried all the time because
I love crying.
I cry. I've cried for hours. I mean, I don't anymore, but man, like I know about crying. I used to cry so much that burn through my contacts and like have headaches and feel horrible. You can't overdo it. But
but you need that release.
Yeah, you know, that's probably, I'm thinking about that right now as I say that, because I must have been processing a lot of trauma from past lifetimes during like because I was miserable for decades. Like I was crying hard, like often for a long time.
Right.
And it almost makes me want to cry now, but I'm not going to, or surprising. But I think about that because I do believe that all that energy did need to come out because I believe everything that happens is supposed to.
Divinely orchestrated at all times.
Yeah. So I just think like, yeah. And I also had connected with a medium when I was waking up. And I remember her once channeling, she's like, oh, when you cry, you're releasing for everyone who can't.
Wow.
And I had channeled when I was on mushrooms a few times that I had to feel the pain of the world. Ooh. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what does that mean? And then I start feeling, and then I think about it and I see myself, and we all are to tap in and see our brilliance and see what we're capable of. But I do see that I am a channel. Like I kind of hold, like part of my ability to feel and having gone so far on one end, I'm now able to hold a lot and process a lot like of macro energy. And I do at times feel as though when I cry, and maybe a lot of us feel this too, that we're crying for others. We're crying for those who can't cry. We're feeling for those who can't feel, because guess what? We're all one.
We're all one. Damn, because you made that point with my mom, just me alchemizing the situation, because it's you could go through the most outlandish shit growing up, but if you can come out of that with a pure heart of gold and love and compassion, that's powerful.
Alchemy.
That's alchemy.
That's magic. And I feel like when you become the master of your own energy, you can master this world, because it's all about mastering energy. That's how they're playing the game. And so you master your own energy and you look at your leaks and it's like, what do you keep revisiting? Let's take a look at that. And this time let's look at it differently. Let's not look at it as feeling it as the victim, as part of it. Let's ascend up. Let's be the observer and look down and understand why this happened. And let's become grateful for this. Because the moment you become grateful for every pain you've ever endured, every trauma you've ever suffered, you've alchemized it. Now the war is over for you. The war is over. And you're moving up to the next level. I'm getting chills as I say this. And I do feel a lot of us are being offered, the whole world is, to step up, to level up to this place where we start creating new earth.
See, okay. I didn't mean to cut you off. You have a video on your YouTube page, and you talk about how you're stopping saying the war on consciousness, because when I was watching, I was like, that makes so much sense. The more we identify with it, it just keeps that reality existing. And I'm like, damn, that makes so much sense. Yeah,
I know. And I had been calling it. I like channeled a few months ago as I'm waking up and everything. I'm like, oh, there's a war on consciousness happening. I get how World War III is happening. We didn't expect it. It's not in the battlefield, like in the past. So there's a lot of stuff that does happen on the ground. Yeah. Where people do get hurt and there are things happening like that. But it's not like, like the revolutionary times where I picture them like standing, like, I guess they did that. That sounds, I couldn't imagine standing in line in front of other people, be like, I'm going to go kill the other people just because they're on the other side. Or, but now it's like this warfare, quote unquote, is happening mentally in our minds. But then we stop seeing it as a warfare and we just actually see this as an opportunity to level up and go within and have a master class and graduate out of the 3D matrix, out of the density of the body. We choose to not recreate. I mean, if you want this to be your last, this is my last life on earth.
Yeah, I can't. I'm okay with
the whole. I've already done it. Like I already did that in past lives. You did too. And we came out of cosmic. Totally. We came out of cosmic retirement because we heard the call. Don't you feel you volunteered for this?
I truly believe and know that. Truly.
because you did. I could cry. Like, I just like feel that. That's a confirmation on channel.
Oh,
like,
man.
I'm just, and so we came back and we are here to, I feel, empower ourselves, remember within, and then do exactly what we're doing now, which is share that information. This is for everyone to do, because I came here to not just empower myself, but to help empower other people by showing everybody to see in themselves how powerful they are, that they're magical, they're psychic, they're amazing, they're healers, they have the power to transmute and to create their dreams. I believe in empowering all of us, and we stand side by side when we do that. And that's a selfish act of selflessness, because I don't want to come back and do this again. Exactly. So like, I want everybody
to do it right this time.
Yeah, let's just empower ourselves and do it right this time.
So it's interesting. I had I'm loving this podcast episode.
Me too.
I was tripping on acid.
I can't wait to promote this. Yeah.
I know, I do.
People are gonna love this right now.
I had an ego death. I was on shrooms. I was visiting my grandma. I think I popped like 2 tabs of acid in a depressed place. So I'm in the kitchen and I'm contemplating suicide. I have a knife to my wrist kind of thing. And my higher self spoke to me and it said, if you do that, we're just going to come back and play this game again. And I froze in that moment. And I dropped the knife and I was like, fuck that. I'm not coming back. Let's just do this shit right this time.
Wow.
It's intense. Guys, not saying that acid is going to make you do like that. Just don't take it when you're in a depressed place.
Well, yeah. I've never done acid, actually. I've only done mushrooms, marijuana, and I've done DMT once. And, you know, those are the main, that's really, I've never even done like MDMA or anything like that. Me neither. Yeah. But no judgments. There's a lot of great healings. I guess they're being done with that now with depression. But anyways, I never, okay. I was about to say I never do mushroom trips when I'm not in a great place, but I had a similar experience to what you just said that I wrote about in my book. I call it my baptism. It was last June. I'd gotten off, like all of my mood stabilizers, like the heavy drugs that really like put you to sleep when you have bipolar. And then all I had left, and I did this with over 8 months with the help of my psychiatrist. This was all with Big Pharma's blessing, believe it or not. I don't know, man. That was divine intervention, but all part of my contract. But I tried killing myself. Only time I've ever tried killing myself. I had suicide ideation since I was 16, which suicide ideation is just when you're thinking, I want to be dead. I want to die. I want to kill myself, but you don't have a plan and you haven't acted it out. I had never had a plan fully and never acted it out. And then in June, in an impulse, I got off my antidepressants, and a side effect of antidepressants coming off is suicide ideation. Wow. Right on there. It's a side effect. And I literally took a knife to my wrist, which is what you're talking about, a knife. And I went and it just touched it and I pulled it back. Thank God. But you know what I did that day? I went and booked myself a hotel room and a really fancy, I just fucking did it and took 2 grams of mushrooms, had an ego death.
See, that's so wild.
Like what you said. Yeah, I know. But I don't recommend that though.
Yeah, don't. Like, we don't recommend doing that,
but it worked. Hi. Yeah, like a whole chapter on that. Yeah.
You want to know what's funny though? So I feel like with me and you, we have to go through the most fucked up shit to alchemize, learn, and then we're able to show, hey, yes, you probably went through the most horrible shit. So did I. And this is how you can get past it. But we have to be examples and you know, go through it to be able to show, you know, how to get to the other side, I guess.
That's the healer's journey. You're a healer, and so you had to heal yourself first. And it's my book is I'm saying in part of the tagline, it's like remembering how to heal myself.
Ooh.
Because and how you heal yourself is by feeling and tapping in with your needs, and then life will unfold and give you what you need to heal. But you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to see what it's wrong. And that's those people that are too proud to feel, or they're, you know, think it's weak or whatever. You're not doing yourself anything. You're actually walking the wrong way.
Damn. Guys, I know you're getting a lot from this episode. This is a powerful episode. It's episodes where I'm like, you know, I can't wait to episode 60. This is the very next episode. Forget that.
This is all I did in at least my most recent past lives. I had plenty of past lives as a performer. I'm also a musician. I worked as a photographer.
What do you play?
I sing, I play piano. I played piano my whole life. Thank you. And but the most recent real past lives that I tap into is where I was a healer, an energetic healer. where I actually like sat with people and was like, because I have, and you do too, I'm hearing in my head,
That's cool.
have the ability to energetically, I can tap into someone's energy and I can find out where that's coming from and why and how to recorrect that if they're willing to look there. It's like this gift I guess I've always had, and nobody ever wanted to hear it because people never wanted to hear what, right? Nobody never, no, I don't want to talk about that, or no, I can't go there because that's how we're programmed. But now I have people booking sessions with me, channeling sessions, and we do this and it's powerful. And but yeah, like I did this in past lives. Like now that I can see that this is for all of us to hear too. I didn't believe in past lives in September until I had my experiences in October, and I'd been tapping into the Akashic records before. I just didn't know it. I didn't know what that was. And I write about that in my book. I was an accidental psychic who had always been psychic, just literally just didn't look at it because we were programmed not to believe it. But then this fall, I started seeing my past lives and started seeing like, oh my gosh, like, wow, I'm a really powerful healer. Oh my God, that's why I contracted this experience, this life, so that I could help write books, do podcasts, talk about all this, to tell people, like I say, it's possible to take a life of suffering and to alchemize it into one where you're happy. It's actually possible. Like I did it. And I want everybody to know you can do it too. We're going to do this together. Like we're not alone. And, you know, like we're all meant to be love and to be in love with ourselves. And you know what? That's another psyop. You don't have to fall in love. You are love. You are love right now. You don't need somebody, a relationship, your parents to love you, or any acceptance outside of you to have love. You are already love, and you're creating it in your body. And I feel like I could cry right now saying this.
I was feeling the same thing. I was feeling the emotion.
I don't know, like, I want everybody to know, like, you know, you are love right now. Like, and it's, yeah.
Because it's, I guess we're programmed to look outside ourselves for love, but doesn't that make sense that they would want you to look outside? I mean, it's what they show in the movies. Yeah. You have to fall you got me
in love.
emotional now. I feel like I have to cry.
Have you ever been in love before? Yeah. I am love.
I am love.
I am love. I don't have to fall in love. I am love. I create it.
Because it's just that relationship with yourself. Mm-hmm. But then you have to, it just comes down to, because everything's perfect. You're perfect, you know, in everything that you do, because you are the creator, and everything that the creator touches is perfect.
Yes.
Everything. This conversation is perfect. You know, whatever you didn't do today, that's still perfect. It's no right or wrong decisions. It's just, you know, free will, and just trying to be in our best selves. And when you love yourself, you can then love others. But I guess it also, I guess until you go through that healing process, I don't know. I feel like until you go through the healing process, it'll be hard to love yourself.
You know, we think it's hard, but it's not.
Okay.
It's actually the easiest thing to love ourselves, I think.
Ooh.
I actually do think, because you want to know why? It feels really good. It feels good to love yourselves. If you're worn out, you love yourself when you give yourself a break. That feels really good, because what you want is the break. Yeah. When you have a deadline that doesn't work for you and you're continuously trying to get it done because you think that's loving yourself, it doesn't feel good. That's not loving yourself. So actually, like, anytime you're out of alignment, you're not loving yourself. Probably that's actually a moment, I think, that your guide's telling you this doesn't feel good. You don't feel like you're in love with yourself right now. And it's all about, like, we can't control what's happening around us. I know, like, someone could run over your foot with their car, and then you can get angry at them and yell and and that's not loving yourself, because that doesn't feel good, because you're tapping into the pain. Or you can go, I'm hurt. What can I do to better the situation right now? That's loving yourself. And that takes a shitty situation and it feels a little bit better. So I guess when I say, like, it's the easiest thing to love yourself, is because it feels good to love yourself. You want that dopamine, man. We make dopamine. We make
dopamine. You want to know something that's interesting? You referenced, you know, when our emotions are like our emotional guidance system. So if you're thinking a thought that doesn't feel good, it's your higher self telling you that it doesn't agree with that thought. And when you just break it down like that, it's like, okay, damn, I was fine up until this thought that I identified with, and now that's my frequency. But I was fine before that.
Do you see how feelings are psychic abilities?
Yeah.
Telepathy that just came through. Yeah.
Damn.
Because you're in touch with your guides. They're the ones who throw the emotions through us, I believe. I do kind of, I mean, think about energy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where do they come from? Well, it's probably our guides. And then those emotions, like we see there are guidance. See, it's like people choosing not to feel like it's cool. But come on, when you feel, you've got this amazing like scavenger hunt of helping yourself get in line with what's next for you. Like you tap in, someone calls and says, "Do you want to go to dinner tonight?" And you immediately have a pang in your stomach and you say yes. Come on, you might as well shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
No, you knew if that was right or not. And that's been me lately too, is just catching myself sooner, because often I'll be like, okay, and then it's like, and then I used to just like beat myself up and get bent out of shape. Well, that's a mind program that is created to make us, God, it's about cleaning it out. It's undoing the matrix programming and cleaning it out. And we can ask our guides to do that too. Say, I would like my matrix programming to be removed. I would like my mind to be reset.
Is it really that simple though?
I believe so.
Everything,
because what did I say? Everything starts with a thought.
True.
Didn't this existence start with a thought? I mean, you had your first thought at one point, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's like, if you don't believe that will create change, it won't. But I fully believe that I can ask my guides, and I am very connected. I see them, I feel them. I know, like, I have more like see it, believe it kind of thing. But I'm telling you all, if you believe that it's as simple as just asking your guides for what you want, try it out and see how your life changes.
You want to know what's funny though? If you asking for your guides for a message, let's say, hey, show me a message in a song that's going to grab my attention. I guess it's no different. Yeah. It's literally no different. Wow.
Your guides are going to speak to you. I feel that my guides speak to me in a way. They tell me all this all the time. Mm-hmm. They speak to each of us in the way that we will receive it best.
Right.
For me, it's kind of through comedy. Like, they're very funny. Like, my guides make me laugh all the time. Like, it's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, or just like, I'll see something ironic. Like, I'll all of a sudden look and see something. Yeah, like a number or something. And I'm just like, oh, you guys, spirit guides, you're so funny. Like, it's a choice. It's a choice what you want to focus on. We're creating our reality. So it's like, what kind of reality do you want? Like, create it. Like, just don't let something else create it. Because unfortunately, I think there's something out there trying to take our consciousness or our energy for something else.
Definitely hijack our energy and hijack our consciousness. But this is my whole take with I call it the pandemic, because it's
that's a great word for it.
All this shit is fucking planned.
Yeah, where'd the flu go last year? Yeah,
this is just the flu 2.0.
Yeah, that was enough for me. Honest, I was like, but then again, I have so much love and compassion, because I was totally afraid last year. I would have been looking for a vaccine on the black market. I was yelling at people who got you. I mean, I have so much love for everybody there, because I know it's like on both sides.
I knew, so when it first popped off, I knew my, higher self don't believe it. And so, but now I'm seeing that we needed that to happen for a reset, for everyone to sit down, have their awakening, and realize, okay, these things don't make sense. My 9 to 5, I'm not happy with. What I thought I wanted to do with my life, I don't want to do that anymore. But we needed to sit down, exit that rat race for a second, and then you have your awakening. So in a divine way, this was needed. This was planned for us to wake up.
Yeah, it was all in our contract, right? Like the macro contract. I totally agree with you, because I mean, look at me. I'm a product of 2020. Like, I woke up. I alchemized that year. I spent half of it terrified and half of it more alive than I've ever been. I feel like, I think it was a choice how somebody spent 2020, because like you said, we were all offered an opportunity.
Yeah, we were.
And it was how you chose to alchemize that. 100%. And everything is about patterns and cycles. So unfortunately, there's probably, I mean, I just learned about 9/11. This fall that actually looked at it and was like, wait, where did that Pennsylvania plane go? Wait, how did that burn that? Or how did that, they bought stocks and before, and just all these questions I wouldn't have even looked at before. Well, I kind of see like, that was almost like a test run to see how they could trick us. And then this whole pandemic happened, and this was like, they just did it to the world.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know something funny? So yeah. I hate masks. And if anybody who follows me on Twitter, you're going to see me tweet about I hate masks. And Human Vibration made this great point. And now when I say it to people, they're like, fuck, that makes sense. She said, if a fart can pass through your pants, what makes you think a mask can protect you from a virus? And I said, that makes so much fucking sense. That makes so much sense.
She's so funny. I love the way she sees things. I do.
When she said that, I was like, you make a lot of sense right now.
Yeah, too much. It's so simple too.
Mm-hmm.
It's so, and even like when you have the mask on, like my glasses would fog up. And
Yeah,
I remember thinking, wait. And then like they were so iffy about it at first, and
right.
And then even studies just keep coming out left, and it's not just that. I was talking to my sister actually, and I was like, what about those people that like never washed their mask? You just saw them always showing up in the same one, and I bless their hearts. Everybody knows that friend.
Yeah,
you just want them to shower a little bit more, but you love them so much, but you just you're not gonna. No, I don't want to borrow your clothes. I'll get my own ride.
Yeah,
but like they're the ones they were never washing their fucking mask, and it's just like obviously masks didn't work because we're still why it's just I don't know. And it's bless everyone's heart, because even like with 9/11, I'm just saying I wouldn't even talk about it, like even that I just like I would that was the thing is I was like, no, this was an attack on our nation, our government would never do anything mean to us, like that's just what I thought. And there's so many people who lost lives because it actually happened. You know what I mean? That's the fucked up thing with a lot of these psyops is people go, well, that was fake, that shooting or this or that was organized or this or that. Maybe it was, but the thing that sucks is that these people are actually getting hurt and these things are actually happening. And that's, again, I'm just gonna say, I think that sounds a little MK Ultra there, trauma-based mind control. We're gonna create a trauma, we're gonna make it so you can't even talk about it, and you're just gonna go ahead and accept the narrative we gave you. And that's
it's that fear harvesting too.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking fear.
I heard that the like energetic reading of the earth on these, like when Princess Diana died, probably when JFK was assassinated, when Martin Luther King was assassinated, we take the reading of the world, and there's the suffering, love, the energies. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of witchcraft they're doing or what. I don't want to say that witchcraft because I believe there's good and bad in everything.
Yeah,
I light my pink like candles for love for the world. That's witchcraft too, guys.
I guess it's what, like black magic, I guess.
What's your intention? Every single thing is about intention, and my intention personally is for the highest timeline for everyone, for love for everyone. Like I'm not just here for myself, I'm here for everyone, and I truly mean that
100%.
But when you are doing things selfishly for yourself, well, that's, I guess, kind of the star flipped and inverted, or inverted thinking, and that to me is that black magic.
I find it interesting. I'm experiencing so I'm big on, manifesting this the vaccine passport not sticking. You can tell me, oh, but they're gonna. No, that's not my reality.
No, it's never showed up in my timeline, not once. It's not going to. It just there's no place for it. It's just not in my reality. It's not in my reality. It's never been. Neither is mandatory vaccine. None of it's in. I'm not no fear, nothing. It's just plain old not in my reality.
And so, since we're holding that vibration and not being fearful of it,
I love you.
Now I love you too.
No, I feel that. No, I feel that. We're both. I know. I felt it too, dude. You're so telepathic. Do you get that? Yeah. Do you feel? Yeah, you felt that. Yeah. You didn't. Oh, I didn't totally just talk to you telepathically. Yeah.
So that's. I'm fucking.
I know. I did. I threw us both off.
I'm loving this episode. So I'm noticing, riots. So in London, for example, the news didn't, broadcast people, riot. Not rioting, but marching and having protests about, we're tired of this shit, right?
Yeah.
So people, because of our vibration, we're in that timeline where it doesn't stick, and people are starting to wake up and question certain things. And then you might have those who are fearful and bless them because they don't know that they're being fed propaganda, right?
Yeah.
And they're experiencing that timeline. I was experiencing this. So yesterday, I didn't take a mask with me outside. Normally, I'll just keep one in my pocket just in case. I have to put it on randomly. But I'm gonna test myself today. I'm gonna go outside.
Where are you located?
I'm in Chicago right now.
Okay.
I live in Chicago.
Wow, cool.
I live in Chicago, so I went to multiple stores yesterday, and I said I'm leaving my mask at home. And now I made this intention. I said no one's gonna stop me and ask about my mask. Not one person. Not one. I went to multiple stores, walked in. Powerful. And I'm like, shit.
Impressive.
I could have did this a long time ago and been straight.
Yeah.
That's so wild. But it's the intention. It's just the thought.
It is. No, yeah. And I did a video about that the other day because I was having to think about my power of intention before I did anything. Like finishing up this book, often I think of it as like this awful project that I'm never going to finish. And it's like, that's no way to enter something energetically, because now I have to like transmute from that level. But if I come in and go, I'm gonna have so much fun when I do this, like, I'm gonna enjoy this task. This isn't a task. This is something I'm so grateful to do. Like,
I get to do this.
Yeah, I even feel my mind expanding. And so that's that same thing with you're saying with the mask. I do believe that we create our realities via thought. How many times have I think I've said that so many times. That's a theme for this chat for sure, is that we're creating our realities by our thoughts.
By thought. I think it's the title of this episode has to have thought in it somewhere, because that's the main key. So Kara, now you have your services, right? You're a channeler. Where can we find you? Where can we find everything?
Yeah. I am Here Comes Trouble with little XO on Instagram. And I am, I'm all over. I've got a podcast now, Let's Be Friends podcast on all
amazing
platforms.
Podcast, guys.
Yeah, thank you. I have a YouTube channel now, which kind of has everything on it. And it's Kara Mosher, and I just started that actually recently. So I have guided music meditations on there.
Love that.
I actually have some for astral projection and like DNA activations and stuff like that. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and then you can book services under my linker tree, has all that information. It's all linked up with my stuff. Yeah.
Guys, so everything is going to be underneath the episode description. Kara, I always ask this last question to my guests. What would your message be to humanity at this time?
Believe in yourself. Ooh. You can do this. Yeah, believe in yourself. You can do this. You are way more powerful than you even know. The fact that you're here and you're here for the Great Awakening, you chose that, and thank you for being here, and know that I love you. I love you. I really mean that.
Guys, if you didn't, this episode is fucking powerful. Kara, I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for you being on, and thank you for taking the time to be on the show.
Thank you so much for having me on. This has been so much fun. This has been the highlight of last couple of weeks, really. And yeah, I really mean that. And I really feel this has been a powerful episode. And I feel like anybody who's still listening right now, that you're upgraded and get ready for the activation.
Let's go. Activation started now. Guys, as always, you're the creator of your own reality. Everything you think, feel, and say mirrors everything around you. Be about love. Ask your guys to send you activations, and just be as intentful and conscious as possible when you navigate in this reality. You're powerful as fuck, and keep being awesome, guys.